Boom. Welcome back to CFBNation. I'm your host, Nino Brown, and I got my guys with me for the College Football National Championship show. This is going to be one for the ages. The last one, the coup d'etat of it all, right? This is what they all play for. Gentlemen, how we doing, Moon? I'm going to kick it off with you.
Man, it started in Atlanta and it's ending in Atlanta. I'm so excited. It's been a long time coming, but we made it to the end of another season. It already feels like we're into 2025 fully with all the stuff going on, the transfer portal and everything. So these two teams are kind of behind the eight ball for the rest of the country. But I look forward to seeing a lot of the fireworks and festivities to come tonight. And shout out to Atlanta for being a great host city already.
Boom. Shout out Atlanta. I'll be down there soon. I'm going to go to the CFB, College Football Hall of Fame. So I can't wait. Dino, I know this one is going to be pulling on some family ties here. There might be some fighting at halftime. What's good? How you feeling?
It's kind of a bittersweet moment in my house. For everyone that doesn't know, my wife's entire family went to Notre Dame. She went to Ohio State. She graduated with Marcus Freeman, Heartline, Laryngitis, all them. So, the way she tells everyone, it's all she's got to do is just watch and have fun because she'll be happy no matter what. So I don't know if I can do that, but yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I wasn't a fan of Notre Dame. I've been saying it all year. They made me eat crow. I'm impressed and kind of proud of how they kind of stuck together, battled together through everything. We mentioned in the green room, there's a lot of injuries, and they just kind of next man up it to get to where they're at and figured out, I think when they started off the season, it was kind of like they didn't have an identity. And I thought that it was going to go the same way of the Sammy Hartman, Fighting Irish era, where they never really found their identity. Like, it looked like in that first game with Sammy Hartman, he's leading receivers and throwing to spots like, oh, whoa, all right. I thought that game might have been like what this team kind of was, because they were coming out firing. And they looked like they had a dude who could just spread it around. And it's kind of been the Notre Dame, MO, get a guy who can spread the ball or run the ball, and an elite D. And I'm like, Riley Leonard, it took him 4-5 games to finally get a passing touchdown. I kept saying, I don't know, boys. This doesn't look good. But, they managed to get it. And Marcus Freeman, I knocked this dude left and right. But I'll tell you what, he was able to get the answer right compared to James Franklin. For those guys who I always say, just what have they done? Freeman's done it, bro, right? He did it as a player, and he's doing it now as a coach. He's got him to the Natty. So kudos to the Fighting Irish. And I've said it to you both. I've said it to Boomer. I've said it to KT. A W here, and the Buckeyes fans got amnesia about Michigan real quick.
I think they already had amnesia about Michigan after.
You're taking an L right here, more. They're going to stir that pot up real quick and come like an avalanche. But they get a dub here. Ryan Day's the guy forever. He got a place in the Hall of Fame, and the Buckeye coach, and there's no rumblings of who's the next man. He the guy till he wants to leave. They catch a natty tonight. All right, before we get in, let's get in this rapid fire before we start kind of talking about the actual game and who we like and some prop bets here. I'll start out with Moon. Are the two best teams in the championship?
The answer to that question is yes. The two best teams are in the national championship, and Ohio State and Notre Dame both thrived in the postseason, which made them perfect for this situation in the national championship. They handled top-tier opponents in ways that other teams wish that they could. Ohio State bullied Texas with the defense that combined with the relentless pass rush, and JT had 9 tackles for a loss by himself. Explosive plays, Travion Henderson, Jeremiah Smith doing the work, And then for Notre Dame, they dismantled Georgia by physicality, and the Bulldogs fans are still not right. And they've relied on dynamic quarterback play, and it hasn't been pretty, and it's also been, squeaking by a field goal in the last time, but they're here. And I would say that the answer to are they the two best teams? Yes.
Okay. Boomer, Marcus Freeman or Ryan Day?
Marcus Freeman. What he's done with less is by far. We talked about this before the season. Ohio State might have one of the best teams money can buy. Marcus Freeman has some good players. Let's not get it twisted. They're a really solid team, but that team's built on tradition, not money. So my hat's off to Marcus Freeman right now. I mean, to have really one slip up, in 2 years, give me that. Give me all of that. Because we talked about earlier, Ryan Day probably on the hot seat if he ain't here right now.
Yeah, 100%. That's what I just said. Like, they're gonna catch amnesia. All the Buckeye fans if they catch a dub here in this game. Nobody's gonna remember Michigan at all. Like, it never happened.
100%. Yeah. I mean, you got to win when you got to win, but you take this L tonight.
I could argue that
Bruh.
if they take a win and they lose, they win ugly, it's still gonna stir the pot even more.
Bro, I'm telling you, they win by one.
The pot is never
Bro,
not stirred
hey,
when it comes to Ryan Day and
Dominic Toretto said it best. A win is a win, whether it be an inch or a mile.
It is an inch,
it's a natty, and everybody's gonna put him on a pedestal. At least
20 years from now, we're gonna say, hey, they won by 1 point. No, we're gonna say they won a natty.
Facts.
Right, but even we started off the show saying that they're behind the 8 ball for the rest of the nation as far as transfer portal and everything else. If you're behind and you win ugly, he's not off the hook. They gonna grill that man.
Bro, they won ugly last week.
National champion, Ohio State Buckeyes.
They won
ugly last week.
Notre Dame can afford to win ugly and get off the hook because they playing with house money.
I'll give them that. I'll give them the house money, and they can win any way they want, and it is what it is. Because in reality, just like I said, they kind of are like the odd man out. They really don't belong here, right? Everybody, Dino, you've been on the train since the beginning, but I'm for the consensus in the community. They were the odd man out. Everybody was like, who they play? You know what I'm saying? 100%. Marcus Freeman never made up the hump. Riley Leonard coming from Duke. He was a ball player, not a foot. You know what I mean? Like, we were all like, a lot of people were in that route. You know what I mean? But they figured it out, and they're here. So, yeah, I agree with playing with house money. I just think Ryan Day, you get it, dub. It doesn't matter how you get it. You could get it at the last second on a safety, my man, and win by one.
So y'all saying that all he has to do is win, and he has to answer no more questions.
Bro, he wins. There's no questions. There's a parade, and he's going down in the Buckeye Hall of Fame as one of the top coaches ever. Fact.
See, I agree with that partially. I agree with that partially. I'll say
coaches ever. I don't know about that, but
no matter what he does, he still lost to Michigan. So there's no way that he's off the hook for that game. The entire state of Ohio will be happy that they are national championships, national championship winners. But at the same time, they will not lose the burn of feeling the loss against Michigan and other low moments over the course of this year.
A national
championship. As someone that lives in Ohio, if Ohio State wins the national championship, that Michigan loss will burn a little bit.
Don't mean nothing.
You saying that it doesn't mean anything if they win natty.
Let me give you an idea, right? Let's talk about that's a rivalry game.
Yeah, I respect rivalries.
I mean, here Oklahoma and Texas played one time during the season, and then Oklahoma beats them in the Big 12 championship game. Which one's more important?
It just
depends. Or back when LSU and Bama played in the regular season and then natty, it didn't matter.
Perfect example.
But that is not
who won the natty.
That's not the same because those situations were different than the scrutiny that Ryan Day already has to deal with being the Ohio State Buckeyes head coach. He's going to have to deal with question marks no matter what the outcome of his game is.
Scrutiny for those schools, LSU and Bama, like Ohio State wasn't up there, hasn't been up in that platform forever.
Harbaugh couldn't beat Ohio State either, and then once he did, he won a natty, and then he was bounced. We saying he's a bad coach because he won one time.
No, we're not calling him a bad coach. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that he's not off the hook regardless of what happens.
All right, I'm not saying he's off the hook. I'm just saying they're catching amnesia, bro. They'll remember. They'll remember when
amnesia.
You know what I'm saying? When Michigan's back on the schedule at 25, all that comes back. They'll remember.
Michigan fans don't got amnesia.
All right, let's hit the next one. Dino, Trevion Henderson or Quinton Junkins? Who's the guy tonight?
Henderson. I mean, there's been a reason why he's always been RB1, even after injuries. Judkins, I mean, he's a solid back, but it's Henderson all day.
As of right now, I kind of agree with you, but I'm a stickler of, and I don't back away from anything. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. He ain't that far away, and if you take that 75-yard receiving touchdown away, shit look a lot more similar overall.
But I'm gonna go back. Judkins was hammering the ball that entire drive. And what they do the first time they wanted to pass it to a running back, they yanked him and they put Henderson in.
Exactly.
Receiving wise, Henderson's more of that explosive guy. I'll give it to you.
He is that.
In that Oregon game, though, Judkins
set because they needed to pound it.
Judkins set the tone in that first drive and that touchdown by just.
I don't think they'll need to pound it like that against Notre Dame. As much as I hate to say it.
Oh, okay.
I think that they will, but I still agree with you, D, now about Henderson. 212 rushing yards, 149 receiving yards, 5 touchdowns just in the playoffs alone, 8.8 yards per touch. If Notre Dame can't limit him in space, then he's cooked. And that's the recipe for him to go crazy. But if they do get in a situation where they're going to have to like sustain long drives, D, now,
then
I think it's just going to be Judkins. Like,
yeah. I think he's going to set them up in the first half. I think the first 2 drives, they're going to pound the shit out of it. And it's going to be Judkins. Pause. But that's how I feel it's going to be. Moon, Max Bulla or James Laurinaitis? Which linebacker coach will mean more in this game?
I had a tough one with this, but Ohio State linebackers have accounted for 10 tackles for a loss in the playoffs. That's a testament to their disciplined approach underneath James Laurinaitis. James Laurinaitis brings an elite understanding. He is a lover of X's and O's. He's going to be able to stop Notre Dame's screens, swing passes, all because of the linebacker play. And he preaches high IQ. His linebacker unit with Tommy Eichenberg is elite. And it's not to take anything away from Max Bulla, because, the linebackers that have come out of Notre Dame the last 2 years is ridiculous. And they're known for their downhill, smash mouth, physicality, play style with high motor, high IQ, right? But I'll take Laurinaitis in this.
I'm gonna pull a boomer, and I'm gonna use a boomer quote. Act like you've been there before. Only one of those 2 coaches has actually been there. So I'm riding with him.
Facts. All right, I'm with it. All right, next one up. Boom. Peyton Pierce or Kingston Villamia-Azza? Which freshman linebacker has more impact?
Do this up. Oof.
I'm glad you got this and not me.
Yeah, I'm happy to.
I'll take it because for me, I've already seen it in one game already, and I think he's going to kind of step up in this one.
Do you think Pierce steps up again? Like that's my thing. Like
I think
it's Kingston. I think
Kingston's a dude, bro.
The way he played against Penn State.
He's more likely to line up in all 3 different linebackers.
Exactly.
True.
Especially
in the slot. You know what I mean? Like,
especially in Notre Dame's red zone defensive schemes.
I think it's going to be a play or 2. He had that game, that play against Penn State, that big tackle, right? And the kid's built for this. You know what I mean? He's just that kid. If I had to bet, I'm taking Kingston on this one. But that's just my opinion.
I'll put my money on that too, and I'll feel confident just because Notre Dame uses a lot of hybrid packages, and I think that they're going to have to in this game. The downhill play by Kingston and his high football IQ going to have him around the ball. So it's just, can he finish? Can he finish with authority? I would pick
those St. John Bosco kids. They know how to play ball, but they come
100%
dudes.
So, all right, Dino, Marty Bagatti or Gunnar Daniel for the special teams coach. Which one's going to play more of a role? Because special teams in the national championship, one of them, it's going to be a key moment. It's going to be a turn. Which guy dials up the right play?
Man, this could be I kind of want to just go push because I could see either one of them pulling out like a fake punt or something somewhere. Man, this is Notre Dame's probably.
Okay.
If I had to guess, I see it's more likely that they pull out a fake somewhere than Ohio State.
I think they have to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They've been leaning on it. They've been leaning on it this entire playoff run, especially at the end of the season, just using trick plays on special teams and defense. And I just think Marty Biagi, that's how you say his name? Biagi?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, he's just a wizard in flipping field position. And if it's going to come down to field position and we're assuming to be a defensive slugfest, even though I'm not going to take the under, then I'm gonna lean on Marty and Notre Dame. Just gonna flip the field position, man.
I want Munya, the last one on the clock for this rapid fire before we get into the game. Give me a college football national championship MVP.
JT Tui Malowau.
I like it. I like it. And we're not going to go in depth on it because I think we're going to wrap it up. Go back to when we get to the props because I think that's going to play a key role in it. But yeah, rapid fire for the Natty champion. I love it. Brings us to the game. It's going to be kicking off very soon. Number 8 Ohio State versus number 7 Notre Dame. 13-2 versus 14-1. Battle. I think as Moon said, battle of the best, right? Buckeyes a favorite, 9.5-point favorite. Over under 46.5. And I know Dino's gonna have something to say about that. Money line, Ohio State's minus 400, Notre Dame's plus 300. Dino, talk to me about this over under.
Hammer the over. I know they're the top 2 defenses, but still, there's going to be points scored. So hammer the over.
Now, I mentioned in the green room, and I want to kind of get everybody's input on the show here. I think kind of the under has to do with I don't think they expect Notre Dame to put up a lot of points due to the starting 2 true freshmen on the line. And I said it last week's game, right? Texas gave them trouble. And Ohio State's better. So I feel
what's going to give?
Right. I feel as though everything they had trouble with one team, the team that they're facing now is coming with more firepower and kind of better athletes. And you're behind the 8 ball a little bit. Yes. Any given Sunday, dudes step up. The all 5-star freshmen for a reason. But one of the guys that's starting is wearing 2 knee braces. So that can't be a good thing to start off the game. And I'm not trying to knock him, but we've seen him. Well, Dalton Smith said, pointed right to him, I want you in that game against Penn State, right? When he had to come in and he stepped up to the occasion, but can he continue to do that in the biggest moments with the spotlight on him when your heart's pounding and you feel like you're going to throw up and they go to snap that ball and it's your time to shine? That's why I feel like they're putting this number out there. But Vegas isn't stupid. They're not. Yeah, you know what I mean?
They're not. And
I think Ohio State's going to put up a lot of points early. And I think that, Michigan's going to have Notre Dame's going to have no option but to throw where you could get those points for the over. I think Ohio State puts up 31, to be totally honest with you. So, I don't.
Yeah, 30, close to 30 points in a row.
I can see it be like a 35-31 game.
I don't. I know you're. I don't know if Notre Dame gets grooving. I'm cool with that, but I don't know if Notre Dame can put up 30 points.
35-31. That's big numbers.
How many years? Let's go. What? 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it 6 out of the last 7 games? It's been an absolute blowout, one-sided victory for national championship. Correct? Or am I misinformed here? I'm pretty sure I'm right.
No, you're probably right.
Right, you probably know that more quickly off the top of your head. It's probably about 6 out of the last 7, right? It's been an absolute blowouts. I think Alabama had one where it was close against who did they?
Or is that Bama Georgia with the late
Georgia and
that was a while back though.
The last 3 have been blowouts. I know that for a fact.
But to your point about thinking that 35-31 is too high, it's very well possible that both teams can move the ball through the 20s, but struggle in the red zone. And if we're just looking at third down efficiency alone by itself, Ohio State is converting at an elite 38% on 48% on their third downs in the playoffs, compared to Notre Dame is at 38%. And I'm looking at that. It's who's going to be able to extend drives? Because everybody has their first 15 on a play call sheet.
Oh, absolutely. But what happens when they don't work?
Yes. What happens when you got a freshman lineman trying to guard either the combination of JT or Jack on the edge?
Yeah, right.
And you get one missed snap and you're down in the 3rd and 16 when you could have been in the 3rd and 7. Those are the key things I'm going to be looking for. But those are going to be another ways to look at the over under for me, because
you mentioned Jack and JT and instantly Downs it comes in the head, and Ransom, because they
got some dudes.
Those guys in the nickel could be eaten in the box, because I feel like they're gonna go untouched, or it's going to take a running back to chip them, and maybe the scheme's not dialed up where he's on the weak side or whatever. But I just have a feeling of the firepower and the game and like the scheme and gameplay that they're gonna call up for the Buckeyes. They're gonna try to disguise it in the beginning, and once they start bringing heat and Notre Dame starts to show a little bit of weakness or a little bit of nervousness, I don't think they're gonna give a shit after that. They're gonna smell blood in the water, and it's gonna come from all angles. You know what I'm saying? I think they're gonna show blitz, drop back, drop six.
The thing that we haven't seen though, is to your point, like I know you've been talking about Willie Howard, but like he hasn't really committed a lot of turnovers in this playoff run. Been very secure with the ball. Notre Dame has 3 interceptions in the playoffs alone. Like, how much of an X factor do you think like Willie Howard's going to be as far as his turnovers and ball security?
I said on last week's show that I think Will Howard on the Senior Bowl show is kind of getting into his Bo Nix managerial bag. Okay. 900 yards in 3 games in the playoffs doesn't jump off the page to me, because it was 1 big game and then 2 mediocre games. So in an average, it's like 300, per game, but there was 1 big game and then it was kind of, I just managed the game. My thing is, are they going to take a piece out of Texas book? Are they going to be able to eliminate Smith? Right. Can they do that? 1 reception. Like nobody did that all year. This kid ate every single game, and the game that he didn't eat, they didn't need him to eat because they dominated on the ground. So are they going to take a page out of that? And can Brian Hartline and Chip Kelly, who's already thrown shots at Oregon on the side, sub shots, right? Can they figure out a way to counter it if they do go that way? Or do we see Carnell Tate emerge now? Like this is a 5-star kid, right? Like he kind of got buried behind everybody else. But when they needed him last week, dude showed up. Boomer, talk to me about Tate and what do you think? Because I'm gonna look at this prop bet. This is kind of a prop bet that I really over under 40 receptions and plus 230 for an anytime touchdown on a Tate, man. That's kind of jumping off the page to me.
Yeah, I'm a huge Tate fan. Let's be real. Almost any other program, he'd probably be the number 1 receiver.
Facts.
Absolutely.
Yes. I mean, the fact you're number 3 because Mbuka and Smith are there is wild. So they're going to have to pay him just to stay. If my opinion, I don't care if the other 2 leave, right? You're going to have to pay. Mbuka's gone. I mean, he's going to be a first-round draft pick. So, but Tate. What's his over/under for the day?
40 receiving yards.
Oh, smash!
That's what I'm saying, right?
For first half. Is that the first half over/under? Because give me that. Like, bruh, smash! I mean, that's absolute smash. I mean, the thing is, you still expect them to take over, Mbuka and Smith. Like I said, they ain't got a third dude to stop Tate.
That's my thing. Like Watts has been really good in the playoff. Xavier Watts has been.
He might take one to the house from the beginning. By the way, that's like across the center.
This is your team. Fighting Irish is your team. You've been, like I said, you've been calling them all year. They're going to the Natty. This secondary's banged up. Like 2 of their main DBs are hurt, right? You know what I mean? And Watts can only do so much. So.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts here with this Tate over-under? I mean, we could talk about it at Booker and Smith as well. At Booker's over-under is 55.5, 4.5 receptions, and the plus 135 anytime touchdown. Then you got Jeremiah Smith over-under 79.5, and it's 2+ touchdowns for 440. If it was just 2,
I'm taking the under on Smith.
The 2+, that's just too much for me.
Yeah, I'm with Boom. I'm taking the under on Smith. I think Texas kind of wrote that playbook on how to shut him down. Notre Dame's going to try to do the best they can to mirror that. But I'm with you guys. I think you hammered the over on Tate.
Easy.
I mean, if you would have asked me who my MVP is, I was leaning towards Carnell Tate because I think he's going to be the guy who they just feed like they did Texas if I wasn't going to pick one of the defensive guys like Moon. But yeah. I don't hate the Ibuka receptions. 55 might be a little rich for me, just because I feel like they may feed him, which is why he gets the 4. I don't know about the 55 though.
Notre Dame played man coverage 63.9% of the time.
Listen, bro, like right? You're gonna have to make some money tonight.
But
you're gonna have to put it on the line.
Penn State's
Jeremiah
receivers
Smith.
are anywhere near Ohio State's receivers. They are nowhere near Ohio State's receivers. I want that out there. But Penn State's receivers didn't have a single catch against Notre Dame. I want to throw that out there too.
I'll give you that, but that's why all of them are in the portal as well. But they couldn't stop.
Absolutely.
They couldn't stop the tight end, right? He was their number one receiver all year, had 1,000 yards, 100 receptions. They couldn't stop him.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to stop the number one guy. I just don't.
Sometimes, though, you got to fall on that sword if you want to eliminate everyone else, though.
Right. No, and that's fine. You know what I mean? I'll take everybody else.
If Carnell takes the guy you let eat compared to Ibuka and Jeremiah Smith, then I'm not saying Carnell Tate is not good because I think he's an elite receiver, but I would rather Carnell Tate eat than Ibuka and Jeremiah Smith.
I would rather, yes. But when you got an alpha like Smith, who's come out and said, play man, I dare you on any team, right? And most of these beat them. Texas figured it out. They didn't play man.
No,
they
didn't.
No man.
No,
okay?
They triple teamed it.
Right. So he said it again. He said it, that they play man more than 50% of the time. And he said, I dare him to play man against me again. If they don't play man, Ibuka's got to get 17 targets, bro. If they play zone all game, this dude is going to be a field general.
To your point.
Let me go ahead, man.
Cook Dino. Go ahead.
I was going to say, would we be having the same conversation if Benjamin Morris?
No. When I started out the conversation with two starting.
No, absolutely. I'm just throwing hypotheticals out there.
No, hey, because Jeremiah Smith, I take one-on-one with Morrison. Maybe they
that
might
would be a bad
even still. All right. So I hear everything y'all saying. I'm gonna tell y'all what my prop bets are, but I'm gonna give y'all my explanations on them. All right. Emeka Ibuka, 4.5 receptions. I'm taking the over and smashing it. He's averaged 7.5 targets per game in the playoffs. I think this is a strong over pick. I'm picking it. And if Smith is double, then I think he's gonna feast on underneath mesh routes in this game. Jeremiah Smith, over under 79.5 receiving yards. I'm taking the over. He has 293 and 4 touchdowns in 2 playoff games. And I think that this is going to be.
One game had nothing. So people forget that. Good.
Yeah. You're right.
That was all against Tennessee.
That was Tennessee in the snow. I mean, in the rain. I mean, not the rain, the snow, but it was just bad weather. I expect them to clear this line just because Ohio State is like really leaning into their bag recently with like using Jeremiah Smith like all over the field. It's not like he's just lining up in one position on the X, just out there out wide on the boundary. They're moving him around, jet sweep motions, putting him. So you every play, the Oregon game, they got obliterated by this just because of just moving him all around. I think if they lean into that philosophy, it's gonna be a security blanket for you, a better out there because he's going to eat like. The receptions part, it just depends on what you talked about. The man, the zone, what kind of coverages that they play. But as far as moving him around, I would have faith just because he can pop off for one play for 79 yards.
Yo, he's played in the last 5 or 6 games the same role as Amon St. Brown played for USC and when they went on him. The same role, 60-40 out wide, 40 and like it's been this, and he's eating everywhere. If you look at the blown coverage when Pat McAfee goes, oh, he's wide ass open. They lined him up in the slot. He worked out to back in. They didn't know what to do. Lost him as soon as he went out past the hash, and then he cut it back in.
Him?
Yeah,
how do you lose him? He every time I know Ibuka, like Bloom said, is going to be first rounder, but I'm coming out looking for wherever that freak of nature is every single time.
I agree. I'm just saying the way it's going to be, they lost them. They find a way to scheme them. And Oregon had full contact. Everybody was up there. Muhammad, the whole crew played. They were fully healthy, and they still got beat. Like I think the yardage goes over. Like I think he gets to 100 yards. Like you said, receptions. I don't know what the over/under is for that. I think it might be 5.5 or 6.5. I don't know if he gets all that, but he could go 3 for $110 in a tutty. Then that could happen. You know what I'm saying? And that could happen in the first quarter. And he also could, get nothing like last week, but then somebody got to eat. Let's talk about the running the ball here, the rushing game. I'm a huge fan. I think you smashed this. Travion Henderson, anytime touchdown, plus 105. I don't know, man. I feel like he's going to get the ball some way, somehow. I'm really a big fan of that one. Now, we haven't really talked about any Notre Dame guys. We've kind of been talking all about, the Buckeyes, but here's my thing. Love's Philly healthy, right? He says he's Philly healthy.
Love it.
But his
Greg
game,
Bennett.
I don't think correlates to this type of defense. I think Price and Williams. I feel like Williams is going to be the main factor. Dino, what are your thoughts on Aeneas Williams here? Over under 41.5 combined rush or receiving yards, and over under 21.5 receiving yards. He's been peppered lately.
I would take the over on the receiving, but the under on the total.
Okay.
This is Jeremiah Love's game running it
Against
100%.
that physical front, you think? Yeah.
Yes.
100%.
You don't think?
I think you're going to see a lot of screens, to be honest with you. I mean, if you're to get away from Sawyer and those guys, I think they're going to be looking one side for Aeneas. I think they're going to show Aeneas first, right, and use him as a decoy, and then Love try to break out.
All pro by the name of Caleb Downs. We forget about that guy. Like, isn't that what he's built for? Screens.
He's still there.
Don't get me wrong. I just think that for Love to get his, I think I'm with Dino on this one.
Williams
I think that
third down back though. So, I mean,
all right, but they've used him more than just in third down in the last 2 games, dude, especially against Penn.
well, yeah, that's because Love hasn't been 100%. But
Right. They say he's 100%. Is that something they're just
if
saying?
Love is 100%, then you take the under on the total yardage.
Is he wearing a knee brace tonight?
No, he took it off
Thank
actually
the
halfway through
Lord.
the game last week or whenever the game was.
But here's my thing. I think we hammer the over on the Riley Leonard rusher because I think they're going to have
that one I'd be okay
take
with
over,
Yes.
but take the under for Leonard's passing yards at 179.5 because he hasn't cracked 180 this entire playoffs. His mobility is why he adds value. 145 rushing yards.
Him working the edge, the RPO, him not knowing which one. That's why I feel like Caleb Downs and Ransom are huge in this game. Because they can play in that nickel position, they can get off the edge. They don't have. They can hide behind Sawyer and JT, and then all of a sudden pop. Oh, we're about to break that. These guys here, and they don't miss. They have both of them have a missed tackle rate less than 7. So
I'm glad we brought up the over under on Leonard. I think that he has to go over for them to win.
Yeah,
honestly, like If you think that Notre Dame's going to win this game, you better say Riley Leonard's going to hit the over, and otherwise, you got to believe it. And otherwise, why not stack the box?
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's how they start.
9 in the box. First place should be over the top, and otherwise.
It's a Great House, and if I'm going to bet on Riley Leonard's passing yards, I would try to pair it with Great House.
All right, listen, I like Great House, okay? But let's rewind the film a little bit. I mean, people are making him out to be like he was Sterling Sharp on that play. Homeboy fell before he made a move. You know what I mean? He just made it look better that he was already he stumbled. He was already stumbling before Great House even cut
like you said earlier to start the show, a win is a win.
I'm not taking away from the win and him being able to glorify that and celebrate in the end zone with that tutty. I'm just saying he wasn't a technician. He wasn't out there Edward Scissorhanding him, cutting him up in the field. The dude had already tripped on his own feet beforehand.
So who you going with? Mitchell Evans?
Is there no one receiver?
If you want to go deep, it's either
Bo Collins or
Chris Mitchell.
Face on.
I think Bo Collins is going to be the guy. If anybody's scoring a receiving touchdown, I think it's Bo. Because I think what's going to happen is they're going to need his run game to get him inside the 20. And everybody inside the 20 is going to know Mitchell Evans is the guy they've been going to. So the next big fella who could be a red zone target is Bo. And finally healthy for the first game in the playoff, right? He kind of got limited action in the first game. Last game, a little bit.
I like that plus 850 for the payday, though.
Oh, for the payday, yeah, but I wouldn't touch it, though.
I'm just saying, my man Moon said, this is the final one where you got to play. You got to go out there and experiment. You got to go out there and take that money. I'm not saying I'm betting, you know, anything big on Bo Collins, but I just feel
I throw a buck on it.
You know, this one I like, and this is why, because Riley Leonard had as many picks as he has touchdowns. If you're talking about an out there bet at plus 650, Ohio State defense anytime touchdown.
On an interception or a fumble?
Feels spicy to me.
Hey, especially after the last week or Jack Sawyer sealing the deal for them.
All right.
I mean, it looks spicy.
Before we give our prediction and our winner I want to talk about this last one here on the dock here. Notre Dame's first drive.
Oh, cash in.
Touchdown, plus 460. Field goal, plus 550. And then a punt, minus 145. I'm going to start out with Boom. We'll go around. Boom, what do you like here?
Listen, I hope that Oklahoma gets their defensive coordinator, so I'm going to go with the punt.
Okay. D now?
I'm going to go with the punt as well.
I'm gonna take the field goal at plus 550. I think they wear down about 5 or 6 minutes on that first drive. Can't figure it out once they get inside the red zone because that physical front, and it's a short field now. And I think they put up, 3. I know their kick has been kind of wishy-washy all season, but in the playoff, he has figured it out.
His dad fixed his back.
So, hey, I'll take the plus 550 on the field goal. Moon, what do you got?
I'm going with Notre Dame first drive punt for minus 145.
I'm not betting that. What is the?
I mean, I'm with you, but I mean, it's the number one defense for a reason, right? The only way they're scoring on that is if the passing game is alive the first drive.
All right, they're gonna have to come out and literally say, we don't give 2 flying F's about y'all and y'all repertoire.
We're not taking about the other realm of this where Ohio State gets the ball first.
And then
it
they
says
have to
Notre
punt.
Dame's first drive, and they stopped them on the 3 and out. You don't think Notre Dame's going to be fired up after that?
Then if that's
you don't
the case,
think that the blood's going to be and the juices are going to get going? And now you just stopped Ohio State on a 3 and out right off the ripper?
it's enticing.
I'll tell you what, and that's why I wish I had the coin flip, because if you're Ohio State, do you take the offense?
No.
You take defense. You put defense out on the first if you're Ohio State.
Oh, if I'm Ohio State, I put 7 up first. Come get me.
I'm the same way.
You have to run the ball. Your main thing on offense is running the ball. If I go up 7-0 and you can't score and I get the ball on the short field, now it's 10-0, I take that running the ball away, dude. You can't run the ball or it's going to be a blowout early.
I agree.
Ohio State, I'm putting 7 on the board. Let's go.
So you saying if you're Ohio State, take the ball, go down the score, stop them,
and then pin your ears back.
Yo, because if you look at 7 on the board, you might have to make them go back and change the first 15. Because I bet you 11 out of the first 15 are run plays. You can't do that being down that early and can't jeopardize yourself not crossing midfield. You got to take a shot.
Ohio State's been more pass happy of late because they've been leaning into their receivers. But to counteract what you just said, I would choose to go on defense so I would get the ball back at the half, stop them and take away any momentum that they have, make their fan base uncomfortable, go get the ball and then do whatever we need to do with our first 15.
I used to agree with that. Scoring the points and way the clock continues to run in college football and in the pros now, you take the ball and you score.
Yo, they come out and score on a 2-play drive on a bomb to Jeremiah Smith. I'm about to tell you, Notre Dame you're going to hear the knees buckling together, bro, if that's how they start the game off.
I agree. But I think it would. You said their knees buckling together. I think that they'll faint to the Lord above if they come out and they don't. If Notre Dame does not get any forward motion on offense that first drive, that's demoralizing.
Now, if they do get the first drive and they say they score, put up 3, God forbid they just out of play action all of a sudden and hit one of these receivers, Bo Collins, Greathouse, even Evans, for a touchdown, and now they're up 7-0. Now I think this is not only does it kind of give a reality check to Ohio State, but I think it starts to put a lot of confidence in Notre Dame themselves and starts to fire burning quicker, where they start to open up a playbook where they don't need to necessarily be that, I formation, just we're going to put 2 backs in the backfield with a runner. They can do different shit. Where if they go out in the first drive and do nothing, you're shortening that circle, my man. Right? You're making that light at the end of the tunnel real, real small.
When special teams does get involved, I mean, it's going to be spicy. And I know people like to switch to other stuff or go get the other snacks and stuff when special teams is going on. But I would say tune into this one. I think Marty Biaggi can get in his bag tonight. They're going to have to, especially to flip the field and do what they did against Georgia. Just make them uncomfortable and have to drive long fields.
See, now, Abuka is the punt returner, correct? Or the kick returner? The punt returner, right?
Is the punt returner. Yep.
Ooh, that one. He could be the guy. He could be the field changer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He could give Ohio State a lot of short fields in this one if Notre Dame can't move the ball.
All it takes is one.
Right. All right, guys. 7:05. Shout out to the chat. You know, the chat has been active. We had 55 plus, live viewing with us. Appreciate you on this, national championship college football show for CFB Nation. I'm gonna go backwards. Start with Dino and myself. Dino, give me your winner and your predicted score.
I mean, I got to stay true to what I've been saying, so I'm going 27-20 Notre Dame.
Okay. Boom. Give me your winner and a score.
35-17 Ohio State.
35-17 Ohio State. Okay. Moon, talk to me.
I just think.
I hope it's closer, by the way.
Then it is. They just won by a walk-off field goal last week. Why not win the Natty by a walk-off field goal again this week? It would just be perfect. 24-21 Notre Dame.
Ooh, I didn't see that go. All right. Hey, before we close it out, I'm going to stick to what I said in the beginning. I think that the inexperience in the trenches is going to a toll. And I think that in the end, the bulldozer that is Ohio State, the team that went out and paid the 13, 15, 16 million, in the end, it all comes full circle for them. I like 31, but for some reason, 34 seems to be sticking. I'm going to go 34-20. Not that close. In reality, Notre Dame kind of gets one at the end to get to that 20. Ohio State, Jeremiah Smith is your MVP because I just don't think Notre Dame's got the guys like Texas got in that. I said it last year. Andrew McCumber was a game changer for Texas. That was that they missed Texas, physical safety. He was what Texas needed. Other aspects of it didn't work. But they don't have a guy like that can just go on one side of the field, allow you to have three dudes on the other way. I love Xavier Watts. I know you're looking at me, Dino, like you discredit him.
No, I'm with you.
I think he's super talented. I can't wait to see him at the Senior Bowl. But when you got this gentleman, McCumber and Watt, if they were fully healthy, and Benjamin Morrison, there you go. Benjamin Morrison could eliminate that.
I'm curious to see what Clark does.
This could be a way to put a stamp on it, right? Make him a lot of NIL money next year, get a lot of interest, and solidify himself as DB1. I can be on that island and do that. So, in that aspect, I'm going Ohio State. Like I said, going to win by 14, 2 scores. Give me Jeremiah Smith, the true freshman.
Boom. Who's your MVP? Boom. Since you didn't
Tate.
Kyle Tate.
I'm going to throw out Jack Kaiser for Notre Dame.
Yeah, I don't know if I could have my MVP, but on the opposite team that doesn't win, because I picked Notre Dame walk-off field goal,
right.
But my MVP was JT.
Right.
Malua.
In the rapid fire. You're right.
Yeah, I just think that they're gonna have to lean towards trying to stop Jack. That man is a savage. Gonna have to lean towards stop him some way possible. But that's
granted, they got more playing time, but Ohio State's interior has been kind of rotated all year.
Mm-hmm. This one gotta go.
If I had to go defensive MVP for the Buckeyes, I talked about him a lot in this show, and I'm gonna ride with it. Caleb Downs, man.
Yep.
I think Caleb
Downs
been
with it.
Would be the guy where we also talk about with that Ohio State defensive anytime touchdown. Bro, I could see Caleb Downs causing, maybe a sack fumble, right? A strip sack, whatever it may be, or a pick six.
Off of a rush with Sawyer.
That's what I'm saying. Like he can hide behind him all of a sudden, boom, pops out the ball, he picks up and goes, or Sawyer hits him, short pass from, tip pass, he picks up and goes to the crib. He's got the talent to do it. I mean, there's a lot of talent in this game. Like I said, Ohio State wins. Coin flip, heads or tails, guys, before we close it out.
I'm going tails, never fails.
Heads.
Hey, heads.
Dino.
Heads.
I'm going heads too. We out. CFB Nation, the Natty. Well, next time we talk about it, it'll be the new season of what's going on in college football. We out.